and the 1%. That was kind of the beginning of this working class. It could have been a working class revolution, but then it got squashed. And then Bernie Sanders kind of picked up the mantle in 2016, and then it got squashed again. There was a organic groundswell of progressivism going on, and the establishment just refused to capitulate. And so that's how you got it. People were like, well, the left doesn't have a home in the Democratic Party, so let's try to destroy it, which I don't agree with, that last part. I think they should try to take over the party still, but it's just, this point in history we saw at the turn of the 20th century, and it got replaced by a progressive movement led by Teddy Roosevelt. We need a progressive bullhorn president, but that is not going to come from the Democratic.
Joy's here.
Oh my God, is this the person?
Kick
him.
Don't kick him.
Why? I leave the room. Yeah, I'm gonna leave the room too, wallah.
Bye. I'll kick him. Come back. I'll kick him. Tell him to come back. With those whores.
Excuse me, Piggy?
Oh, sorry. I didn't know you came back.
I didn't even leave. Why are you calling me a whore?
I was talking about the girl that left.
No, you said whores.
Somebody called me a black.
Nobody said black. No, nobody.
He's black. I didn't say a black. They were saying, who are you? Yeah, why would you describe me as a fucking black, Nora? Are you okay? I didn't say a black. I said you're black. Trying to help, I'm also a regular fucking woman.
Yeah, but you called me and my friends whores, so it's not okay.
I didn't.
I heard you. I literally was still in the room. By the way, Nora kicked this man out. I'm not gonna be here if he's gonna be here.
Okay. Don't kick him.
He's literally recording rooms and shit. Wallah.
No, he's not. That's the wrong guy. His name's Abdul.
Joy has different accounts.
No, bring him up, Nora. Bring him up.
Okay, Joy, come up here.
Okay.
It's admin. Admin literally record rooms. Come up here.
Okay, wait. You're right. I have him blocked.
My Joy kind of fooled her for a second. Oh my God.
Care for abortions or something like that. And so even
not just the man who got pregnant, but suppose a woman gets pregnant and the man dies.
Okay.
So now what? Now she's on her own.
Okay, a woman dying.
That's a rhetorical question. From my view, all of the men around you, cousins, former boyfriends, brothers, they should step up and do the part of the father. And in the last resort, the government should do the role of the father on behalf of women generally, or rather on behalf of everybody, but to the benefit of women generally, at the expense of men generally. So that was my view. The idea that only the immediate man involved is responsible is, of course, the individualist, conceding only the slightest altruism in account of one's involvement.
Well, I would see in a society that has laissez-faire capitalism that women who become widowed and need help taking care of 2, 3, or 4 children would be better cared for through laissez-faire capitalism than they would be cared for by government intervention. And I know there's this suspicion of, human beings, this might go into your characterization of human beings as such and what sort of beings we are. Maybe we won't be that noble, maybe we won't be that charitable, but there will be so much wealth created in a laissez-faire system that a widow would be able to find that sort of help without the government. And you also made this point about, the Balkans is about violence. And yes, I understand crossing borders and, launching missiles or shooting people is one form of violence. But another form of violence, which I would just say is the use of force, is saying that if you don't pay the tax to take care of the widow, you will go to prison, which is the kind of force that we have in place today. as opposed to, what you have literally in the Balkans, former Yugoslavia and such. Okay, so there's a distinction, but it's still not necessarily violence, if that word, comes with blood on it, but the use of force. Whereas if I resist paying out of my taxes for the widow, I could be locked up. That's the use of force, and it essentially is violence.
Yes, well, I've been problem with violence. I think we need police, we need military, we need to get the bad guys. When you arrest them, you have to put them in handcuffs. You have to put them in prison. You have to beat them if they try to beat you. You have to kill the enemy. I have a problem with violence. The problem is not violence. The problem is excessive violence, wrongful violence, violence against the wrong people under the wrong circumstances. The problem with the Balkans is that it's violent for all the wrong reasons. The problem with balkanization is that separating people, people separating each other for the worst reasons results very often in violence. What I've said is that when we separate each other, as we do, by race, class, and wealth, race, class, race, sex, and class, and various other ones, we are not balkanizing because that's not resulting in violence per se. There was already violence, if we do express it. But it's not that one leads to the other. I would not think that we should be sex blind, color blind, and wealth blind in order to bring about peace. But that's your second point. Your second point is that if we weren't laissez-faire, that is to say, if we had a state that was minimal in its action, perhaps even absent or as absent as possible, that we would be more generous and the world's problems, especially the problems of poverty, would wither away. Well, this is of course a future prediction, a prediction of how things would be if we ever were laissez-faire. And we can disagree about that. I mean, I think the only way to establish the truth of what would happen is to try. And perhaps we could see if some countries or other have tried. Or perhaps we could put this entire country to the test at everyone's expense if it doesn't work out. Or you could recommend it somewhere else, like, let's say, Argentina. So I'm all in favor of experiment. I don't exactly want it to happen here, but I do think we can democratically decide where we want it to be tried. Argentina is a great place to try because, of course, they were very wealthy 100 years ago. And there seems to be no account of how they came to be the way they are now, except for their collectives. So I think it's a great opportunity for experiment. They don't even have to become very wealthy. They don't even have to solve the problem of poverty. They just have to rise above the morass of Latin America, and that will improve something. I agree. But now, can we really credibly believe that the rich of this country, or any other, would solve the problem of poverty if they had every restriction removed from them? Well, let's look at Europe. Before the rise of democracy, the rich had everything. They had all the rights, and the poor had none of the rights. And what did they do? Were they insufficiently Christian? You could say that no one wasn't a Christian. Were they insufficiently kind? I don't think that kind of thing that was from century to century.
Well,
was it not sufficiently free market? Well, they didn't need the free market for wealth. Luckily, they had it already. So I think, look, you're entitled to your opinion about what would happen under given circumstances, but to the extent that these policies are to be the product of collective decision by vote, then I simply vote to make their trademark. What do you experiment with me?
Well, again, to use the example of the European aristocracy as analogous to maybe the 1% in the United States, I think is a bit flawed. Because the way that the 1% or the wealthy class, the aristocracy in Europe, gained its wealth was through the use of force and also by subjecting a population under mass hysteria for 1,000 years. Whereas the CEOs who are billionaires in this country, Musk, Walton, etc., gained their wealth not through the use of force, not through subjecting the mass of the population in a state of Catholic hysteria, serving the needs of the people and offering them products and services that they willingly, not at the point of a gun, decided to use. And that is how you have a kind of upper class, if you want to call it that, to say nothing of hereditary privilege, which played a role in Europe's aristocracy, which does not play a role in America's billionaire, quote-unquote, class. Or I guess we should also start talking about a trillionaire class. So, I think that, it's very irresponsible to make that association between the wealthy in America and the wealthy in Europe. Now, I will agree with you that if we were to inject laissez-faire capitalism into the United States right now, after having gone through probably 70 years of a mixed economy, it would be a shock to the system that would create more problems than it's trying to solve. And so instead of looking at what laissez-faire might do right now at the immediate moment as an immediate injection into a mixed economy that has been soured at least since FDR's New Deal, we should look at the growth, the expansion of rights, the extension of individual rights that occurred during the 19th century when America was still sort of in its nascent phase. And it began not as a mixed economy, not as an aristocracy, unless, of course, you include the slaveocracy in the South, which we can talk about. But so long as the free market was allowed to flourish without any sorts of privileges and things like that, not only did it get rid of slavery once and for all, which none of the European nations were really able to do until they started to align with more free market policies, it also showed you technological innovation at a rate absolutely unseen prior in human history, and dare I say, not seen in our own time today, because we now live in a mixed economy, and the Silicon Valley innovations that might be afoot are forestalled by the very nature of this mixed economy. And so when you bring up Milei and Argentina, it is an interesting example. If he goes about it responsibly, he might begin to unwind the socialism, collectivism, however you want to call it, back dogs, excuse me. And if he does it responsibly, there's a way to do it. But there's no way to just come along and say, fine, the next president should just be laissez-faire when we've had, 80 years of Social Security and Medicare. That would be calamitous, and I would not advocate that. But I would advocate, just moving forward, this will be my last point, is a Republican Party robust enough to slowly and carefully and rationally unwind the mixed economy that we find ourselves mired in right now. That might take more than my lifetime and maybe several generations. But if we were on that footing, I think that would be the best route for America to pursue, as opposed to walking blindly into the nightmare that we'll have when the national debt is finally up.
Okay, I have to remind you, we're doing political philosophy, not American politics. I agree with most of what you're saying, in as much as it corresponds to who we vote for and what we do with the specific policy problems that we have to face in the near future. But I wasn't addressing any of that. I regret, actually, given that you reveal yourself to be a student of the Austrian school, to have even brought up the medieval, the feudal example. I inadvertently, I should have done better, invited you to give me a lecture on why capitalism is better than feudal economics. Look, I know that. I know that free market capitalism is better than feudal economics. I also know that that there's nothing justifiable about the birthright of the state and wealth that one doesn't work for, and that today's millionaires and billionaires are, for the most part, self-made, although there is some inheritance here and there. I'm aware of all of that. I wasn't defending a return to feudalism. Okay, put that out of the way. I also am not defending a mixed economy. Okay, I'm not participating in the capitalism versus socialism debate, which is, as I may have said more explicitly before, but did say implicitly, I reject this idea that either individual rights ought to take priority over collective rights, or that collective rights ought to take priority over individual rights. What I argue for is a balance, and that has nothing to do with economics, at least not immediately. Obviously, if one applies a balance of individual and collective rights to economic questions, that suggests that perhaps the mixed economy is best. But it's not at all my view. My view is that the state should not be involved in the economy as a buyer or a seller, except as is needed to govern. And so there's no reason why schools need to be run by the government, and so on and so on and so on. So I take a far more, let us say, libertarian view, without being one, on how to organize the economy. What I was talking about very explicitly and specifically was about whether, if the rich were not taxed to provide for the poor, not with a mixed economy, it could be simple redistribution, okay, which doesn't involve.
Are we in a holding pattern right now?
Leonard, as I was just getting for you. It could just be real. It could just be mere redistribution. And redistribution doesn't involve the state in the practice of the economy. It doesn't mean they have to run a company. It could be a simple independent tax credit, or a tax rate, or something to that effect. My question was just, if we don't do that, that is, if we don't collectively impose upon the rich to provide for the poor, then I think it's simply incorrect. As a prediction of the future, based on our understanding of human nature and our collective experience of history, that the rich will find it in their generosity to provide for the poor to end poverty. Whereas we could do it by simply imposing. And so I believe we should impose. This is not a defense of feudal lords or
the imposition of wealth redistribution.
Roosevelt and Johnson. I am not talking about all of those things.
Right. I gather that from what you said, but you did point to Europe as an example as, having a rich class that didn't do anything for their peasants. But I won't harp on that. I understand, you've made a clarification, and it's a fair one, and I can abide that. Nevertheless, I still stand on the idea that government trying to force rich individuals to take care of the bottom of society is, it would be a nefarious innovation of government. I'll be very quick here. I know you want to respond, so I'll be very quick here. But what I'm saying is that the capitalists, the billionaires, the innovators in a laissez-faire society are not doing what they do out of some sense of benevolence to the lowest rung of society. They're doing what they're doing out of trying to actualize their individualism. And the corollary of that, for instance, is everyone now having electricity. That Thomas Edison is playing around in his laboratories and coming up with inventions and working on a light bulb. He's not doing it for an altruistic reason. Altruism should be completely divorced in a laissez-faire capitalist system. He's doing it because that's what he's interested in. It just so happens that Edison working at that project that fulfills his own individual desires, brings electricity to Manhattan and to the rest of mankind. And that's what you will see in a laissez-faire system that is not a mixed economy or any kind of socialist economy or what have you. You'll see individuals not creating things out of the goodness of their heart, but just out of the genius of their minds, which will, on a second level, kind of almost tertiary to that effort, bring up the rest of humanity and create a higher standard of living.
Yeah, I'm all in favor of creativity, industry, genius, and the rest. I think those are great. And I don't see the reason to inhibit it or interfere with it, nor was I advocating for that. The imposition would not be on enterprise. The imposition would be on accumulated wealth. To simply subtract some wealth from the wealthy, provided that one only takes a small fraction doesn't in any way inhibit their creativity, genius, or productivity. Because the amount of money that gets converted in whatever their ideas may be is a product of investment demand. That is, the demand that investors have for a good idea to invest in. So even if they're not, look, the rich very often don't even put in their own money to invest in their genius. They instead raise funds. Their money is just a measure of how much success they've had so far. So I'm not against the investment. I'm not even against the law. So your arguments fall flat because although they are very good arguments against positions that you and I both oppose, they don't address anything I said. But let me speak to one of your points earlier, which I didn't speak to, and then let me end with a proposal that would address our difference of opinion over the policy that would accommodate both. So with respect to coercion, generally, in agreement that coercion is a bad thing. It's basically a restriction on our freedom. There's no retribution. There's no punishment. Sorry, there's no crime or fault to which taxation as retribution would correspond. But I don't think that taxation needs to be thought as coercion at all. Now, let me now give you the policy proposal. If it is true that in a different economic organization, something more laissez-faire, or however you wish to say, the wealthy would find that both by way of generosity and invention, so both as byproduct and charity, together were to end poverty, that is, to give everyone the opportunity to have a good life, not only because they make good choices, because they have the necessary resources, upholding the principle that the whole point of society is to uphold life, liberty, and property for everybody. That is to say, good life, good property, and good liberty. Then let's just see what happens. Let's just go laissez-faire and see how much they contribute to the poor. But before we do that, let us decide democratically, that is by majority opinion, exactly what are the standards of a good life. Maybe it's, I don't know, $80,000 a year, whatever it is. And let us then just say that by law, whatever shortfalls there are in the receipts of those whom we wish to have a good life, as received from those who are so generous to give, either by invention or charity, would then be provided by imposed taxes. This way, if it turns out that the goodness of their genius and generosity of their heart, because I think they both occur, at least among those who are unselfish, I think that very many of them are selfish, but many of them are not. Whatever they give would simply be supplemented. And if there's no need to supplement, because it was correct that if everything weren't unleashed, we would all be better off sufficiently to have good lives, then there would be no taxes. The taxes would just be a last resort built into the law in case the fantasies don't come true. That is effectively the system we already got, at least aspirationally.
Well, Rodrigo, I'll agree to disagree for now because I just want to allow other people to speak.
Oh, sorry.
I've had a chance, but I do respect your opinions, and I'm sure that we could have a much longer conversation. But if there are people who want to speak, I would allow. I want to give those people time.
I want to invite that as well. But one last word I forgot. And that is, here's how you can implement taxation without coercion. That you'll observe, of course, that if one doesn't pay the taxes, the police come in and take your property. But here's a way to do it without the police. It wouldn't be as orderly, it wouldn't be as advisable, but it wouldn't be coercive. Perhaps you'll agree to it. The whole point of property is exclusive rights. If you own a house, what that means is that you have the exclusive right to live in it, perhaps even to enter it. Anyone else enters only by your invitation. Well, suppose you owe some money and you haven't paid it, and all of your wealth is tied up in a house. Here's something the government could do to not coerce you, but as a response to your not paying the tax. It could simply revoke your exclusive right to the house, allowing squatters or anyone else to enter, and the police would not respond. I think that's the situation we're living in. That's why we have police, because we don't want to do that. But we would be entitled to police.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's a horrendous idea.
Yes, it
That
sounds
sounds
very
absolutely horrendous.
dystopian, and I will, digest that. But again, just in the interest of other people who might want to speak to the ideas that have been thrown out here, I kind of open up the floor. I'm not the mod or anything. I don't think there is a mod.
I just have a fundamental question for Rodrigo. Like, because I heard you earlier. You said like you don't subscribe to collectivism. But like, what for you? Like, what's the proper function of government?
It's to execute the will of the people who institute, and that varies from one government to the next. In the United States, it's to protect the life, liberty, and property and habits.
So, like, are you just saying like it's completely like subjective according to like whatever people deem it to be, whether it's like okay for dictatorship or not?
It sounds like that's what he's saying, bro. Like, it sounds like that's what he's saying. Like, there's been a lot of focus on Rodrigo, and I just wanted to ask Gildas a question about the debt. He referred to the debt earlier, and I'm curious to know, Gildas, what do you feel our options are as it relates to the national debt, brother?
Well, hold on a moment. Like, I get there's been focus on Rodrigo, but the room is entitled Political Philosophy, not the growing debt. So I guess Roger made me a mod of it. So that's why Rodrigo was speaking towards the political philosophy, Anthony.
Well, I would also say in order for us to talk about political philosophy in a way that all of us can really grasp, it's okay, in my belief, to use concrete examples. Okay, we have one before us, which is the United States and the national debt. If you guys want to remain abstract about it, we can do that, but I think that would turn a lot of people off because everybody is not well versed in, the Crito and Plato and all of that, when we can actually make it more immediate by talking about things that correspond to those abstract ideas.
Yeah, but I think we're putting like the cart before the horse if we're going from like what's the proper role of a government to like the national.
Sure, that individual rights are respected. That's the simplest definition I can give. But then you'll say, well, okay, so what do you mean by that? And that's where I then have to go on to start showing you guys maybe concrete examples. Because that sounds good, okay, that sounds noble, Gildas, but what do you mean exactly when you say individual rights need to be respected and upheld by a government? How does that play out in reality? And that's why I would kind of go into things like the national debt or, the New Deal under FDR and things of that nature. But if you just want kind of the abstract notion, that's what I mean. That's what I believe the government should do. I do not believe, which maybe Rodrigo believes, I don't know, and Rodrigo can speak for himself, but the government is not here to ensure that you live a happy life. And it's kind of nuanced, because I would say a happy life is a life that you lead because your individual rights are not trampled. But I think Rodrigo means something a bit different. A happy life means, and forgive me, I'm going to butcher your argument, Rodrigo, but for the sake of an example, a happy life means a white picket fence and a house, and two kids and a garage and one or two cars and a wife that loves you and sucks your dick every Saturday or whatever the fuck you want to call it. But I don't think the government should extend its invisible hand or whatever you want to call it into that realm. It should just make sure that it's cleared the path for you to pursue that or living in a van if that's what you want to do.
Look, that would make me happy, not the van, but the under Saturday thing. But if we're going to talk about me, I can't think. I think that what the goal of the government is depends on the government. Every government is different. because every individual is. Some individuals want to live in bands. Some governments want to dictate policy to all their subjects and never hold elections. This idea that all governments have the same purpose is, I think, false.
And I think one other thing that I found kind of maybe creeping in your argument is this notion of the rich paying their fair share.
No, I didn't use that phrase.
I know you never used it. That's why I said I thought it was
this is important because you're arguing against collectivists. I'm not a collectivist.
I know you're not a collectivist, but
I don't think there's no such thing as a fair share.
Okay, all right. Well, that's clear then. I'm glad you made that clarification because, but then you're also making these arguments about what the rich and the wealthy need to do, and how could that not be described as them paying their fair share?
Because it has nothing to do with fairness. It has to do with solving the problem of poverty.
All right.
Solving the problem of poverty is not solved by redistributing.
I'll go back to that. Anthony, I think you were asking a question while I was checking on the ribs in my oven, and I didn't hear the whole question. You said something about the national debt, and I think it was directed at me. Do you want to ask the question again, or do you guys want to pursue another thing?
So I'm happy to ask it again, man. You mentioned the national debt, and this is a subject that's pretty near and dear to my heart, and I think the way that we address it, I think it's arguably the most important political landmine in our society today. And I'm curious to know, what do you feel our options are in addressing that debt?
So what you don't do is try to be superhero Ayn Rand, laissez-faire capitalist monster and say tonight, privileges for Social Security and Medicare are gone and just blow it up in smoke. You don't do that. That would send our economy into a tailspin. It would create a greater depression than the one from the 20s and 30s.
And they kicked me from the room. They know what's up. They know they can live stream now. See, I think that's part of the fun thing of this game, where
not really. It's not like they're closing, shutting down this media outlet or something. They just cancel their subscription. Did the Quran talk about canceling subscription?
Typical little hat person dents in moving the goalposts back. You guys are like
typical Goya response. Call it a yarmulke.
Yeah. And typical small hat response as well, thinking that he's greater than someone when really he ain't shit.
No, the only person I'm greater than is you.
No, you're not. In fact,
yes,
you're cursed. In fact, you're cursed. If you weren't cursed,
when are you gonna listen, boy? When are you gonna realize, boy? When are you gonna realize? Excuse me, inferior pig, you dog. When are you gonna realize that it's a Jew's world and you're just a boy living in it?
These prophets, you're not. If you weren't cursed, you wouldn't be having mental health issues in your army. If you weren't cursed, you wouldn't be walking around with damn diapers on.
No, I'm not saying anything about the army. I'm saying I'm blessed over you. No. Excuse me, boy. I'm blessed over you. I'm blessed over you.
Okay, if you weren't cursed,
bow down. We disagree with you. Bow down and kiss the ring.
From everywhere you came from.
Have some respect for your superiors.
If you
your superiors who run everything, who run your bank account, who run your media.
Yeah, you stupid Mambia.
Brother, we already have your satellite coordinates, just so you know.
We have 8 genders.
I hope there's no wife and kids in that house.
You stupid Mambia. If you weren't cursed, you wouldn't be high in pedophilia. If you weren't cursed, you wouldn't suck the blood from circumcision when you circumcise your kid. Dumbass Mambia.
No, that's the funny thing is,
let's not do the mocking the religion either. Yeah,
aren't Muslims also circumcised? That guy in particular, I want to pick with him.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, we do.
At what age? Is it like also at 8 days old? like Jews?
It's a sunnah. It's a but it can happen after as well. You know what I'm saying? But it's better to get it done
after.
It just depends. The earlier you do, the better it is because there's a lot of benefits to it as well. It stays clean.
Wait, so are you saying that Shia Muslims don't circumcise?
I know they all do though.
Ah, okay. So also, like they circumcise, yeah, they circumcise also when they're babies, right?
Yeah, they do. But I think what that person brought up was the mouth thing. We don't do the mouth.
Okay, I think it's done to. I don't know why it's done. I think it's done to prevent infection or something. But did you know also that they used to circumcise, even until this day, circumcise the women in Egypt?
Yeah, but that's might be a culture. It's not nothing to do with religion. It's against religion.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's called the woman circumcision. Yeah, they actually even in current present time it still happens in Africa though.
I was talking to this Egyptian girl, a woman, but I don't know. I didn't want to ask her directly, but I guess she was circumcised.
So I have the code for you, Samson. Internal discussion instructions to his men. The old man Ben Gurion demonstrated a clear position. It would be better that as few a number as possible Arabs would remain at the territory of the Jewish state. You see what I'm saying? That's one of the codes, and then there's other ones as well.
Okay, but when did you say that?
47, right?
Yeah, in 47, they went from village. Let me give you the name of the village, what happened in the village.
It's fine. Look, I've heard this quote before, okay? But I'm asking this year.
I got the whole the timeline. I'm just going off the timeline right now. Hold on. Let me read you this. It is important to stress the ethnic cleansing of Palestine began before the 1948 war and before even a single Arab soldier set foot in Palestine. Right. This is important to understand because many still irrationally argue that the Nakba Arabic of catastrophe was a byproduct of the Arab war on fledgling Israel state. Approximately 300,000 Palestinians had been expelled through ethnic cleansing campaigns before the onset of war or the end of mandate. These campaigns were accompanied by massacres and war crimes, even against villages that were neutral and had non-aggression pacts with the Zionist Yishuv. The ethnic cleansing of the village of Deir Yassin demonstrates this perfectly.
Okay,
so did this quote include Deir Yassin?
This quote talks about the quote that I said earlier that was about the Arab, right? And who lived in these villages.
Well, I mean, what you just
but you said the Nakba, you said the catastrophe.
No, I said before the Nakba, before the Arab war, they went from village to village to ethnically.
He said before the Nakba, very important to ethnically cleanse all the Palestinians.
I know. Okay. I got it.
Soldiers set foot on the soil. Did you not hear him? Are you not an honest Jew like me?
I got it.
I mean, it's just weird. You're reading a quote from supposedly when 47, addressing the 1948 war, addressing Nakba. How's that possible?
Yep.
It's impossible. No, but it's impossible. I mean, can't you see?
How is that impossible?
But he did not foresee the future. That's what
yeah, exactly. You can't see the future. We are literally in 1947. Why are you addressing it as
I am saying.
Why are you addressing it as not?
I said who started it first. It was the people that migrated into the land. You were talking about
how
civil war.
How you saying? How you applying that?
Hold on. You guys are applying this. Oh, it was civil war. It had nothing to do with. I just read you something, right? That talks about how there was non-aggression there.
I mean, the civil war started while the mandate was there. If you don't know, the state of Israel was created in May 48, right when the mandate ended. Okay, so there was a civil war prior to that. You need the overview. Plus, what you just read was nonsense because like this person, whatever you just read, couldn't possibly have foreseen the future. Like why? It would be the equivalent of it being 1939 and you addressing what was just happening when Germany invaded Poland as the Second World War. It's impossible.
Bro, who was the civil war between? What groups?
Amir, can I ask you a question?
Who is the civil war? You're making a claim about a civil war. What groups are fighting a civil war? Who are the sides? Am I not projecting my voice? Someone is claiming a civil war. What were the parties of the civil war? Can anyone hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. But
Yeah, who were the parties? Who were the parties of the civil war? For the one claiming civil war, who were the parties? In the American Civil War, it was North versus South. Who was this parties in this so-called civil war you're claiming in Palestine? Who were the parties?
So the so-called civil war in Palestine was between the Jews and the Arabs.
Yeah, the one that migrated, right?
And the rest of it.
wait, but Amir, I have a simple question. Do you imply that the Jews have started the war by migrating to the land?
100%.
Okay. So, just by migrating, right?
No. By migrating, right? They allowed them into their houses. There was not they did protest back in 1933, 34, 30. They protested. Why is this happening? The mass migration, right? What did we do? Because there was, when you have large amount of people coming into a piece of land, there's going to be resources. There's going to be shortage of a lot of stuff, right? It's going to hit hard, and people that are already living there, they're going to, they're going to feel the pain.
So this is an act of war, like in your opinion?
No, but you guys the people that migrated into that land, they're the first one to start the shit. It wasn't Palestinians. They were living
what was their declaration? No, I really am trying to understand. You said that the Jews started the war. So,
John.
No, but I'm asking.
Conquest by immigration.
Amir, I just wanna get the answer from Amir.
Yes.
Please, and honest you, if you don't mind. So you said that you imply or you explicitly say that the Jews have started the war by immigrating, right?
Making these deals under the table with British Empire, right? They started making deals under the table with the British Empire, how we're going to take over this land, how we're going to turn this into a Jewish state and whatnot. That's the biggest problem. Then they started this, they're going from village to ethnically cleanse them. That's my biggest issue. You're getting rid of the people that are indigenous to the.
I mean,
the Mufti and the riots came only.
Do you want me to read you from a scholar, a Holocaust scholar that actually disagrees with you about? You keep bringing up Mufti. Mufti had nothing to do with this.
No,
I can throw. You want it from a Holocaust scholar?
What do you mean the Mufti has nothing to? The Mufti was the one that ordered. Yeah.
You're like mixing different things here. I don't really get it.
Okay.
Yeah, John is mixing.
My point is.
Look, you're saying
No. I'm not mixing anything. I'm just asking.
On the Arabs when they emigrated to the land of Palestine. Is that what you're saying?
Are you talking to John or me?
No, I'm talking to you because I want to know, what do you know about the different immigration waves there were? What do you know when the Balfour Declaration is from? The different,
what does the Balfour Declaration say, Israel?
So you were mentioning how the British promised the Jews a land. I want a year from you because this is way after the immigration waves, okay? Plus, the British also promised the Arabs a land. You don't mention that. The British didn't really have a favorite side here. They just wanted the Jews and Arabs to fight each other, if you don't realize that. But
okay, how do you? Let me ask you this, Samson. Let me ask you.
Amir is avoiding the hard questions.
Hold on, John. Let me ask you this. If I own a piece of land, right, and let's say a nation, it's going to change it's going to be a change of ownership of the nation of this piece of land from the federal government. What is the best and safest way to transition?
What do you mean? what's the safest
Is
way
it
to?
so? Should that new party go around and ethnically cleanse people that are already living there, or can they stay and you're just changing the ownership of the land?
No,
it's just going to be a new.
Immigration is not. Immigration is not.
So, John, let me have this. So, I want you to give me one example of ethnic cleansing prior to 47. Can you do that?
I just gave it to you. I just read you the name of the village.
That's
maybe did I not read you? Okay, let me read it to you again.
No,
It's not safe for black men, but it's safe for black women.
I know, but it's small. Hold on. It's small to come back, come after a woman. Stop coming after women. It's weird. Like you're cussing her out. She's in the audience. Don't you think that's
You're too Iraqi. That's all.
Guys, I did not call. Oh. God, I only called her a bitch like once. What the fuck? What the fuck I need to do that for?
Why? She's in the audience. She's not even talking.
Well, yeah, don't cancel people in the
audience, man.
No, she was on stage.
She's a mom.
Wait.
She's a
She was on stage when I did it.
She's on stage. The fuck?
I don't really care about that. I'm not worried about it. She's so like cute. I'm talking about Yael. When she was on stage, I started saying stuff. I didn't feel it.
Yeah, bitch, you're black. Who gives a shit about you? So shut the fuck up.
Look at this fucking no-neck white.
This fucking bitch ass nigga that gets no pussy.
Wow, fucking bitch ass nigga, bro. What the fuck you look at, my nigga? What the fuck you look at? Where's your neck,
Isn't that pussy? Where's your neck, bitch? Where your neck at, nigga?
Hold on.
Where your neck at, nigga? Where your neck at, nigga?
Yeah, rest your neck, man. Rest your neck.
Where your neck at, bitch?
Rest your neck. You need a massage with that neck.
You little pussy ass boy, where your neck at, nigga?
Yeah, look like you need a massage.
What the fuck you?
Okay, y'all. You insulted him. Y'all insulted him. Y'all said that he had no neck, so it's.
Wait, why can't you wear a black woman? Why you
he said something to you. You said he had no neck.
That's racist.
Because you are.
I'm not.
Wait, did he say that? Okay.
Do something.
No.
Okay, can you stop?
Women, stop fucking defending white men, you fucking Vegeta. Shut the
I'm
fuck
not
up.
defending him. I'm telling him to stop or I'm gonna go out.
Are you not a real life Limo?
Right, dick, bro. Look at this
white power.
Fuck you.
Okay, we don't know what's going on. We don't know what's going on with the
Let me take you on a date.
Hold on. It's not white power. It's
Should I go on this? It seems like they.
white power over here. Look at this fucking nigga.
Y'all are gonna listen to moderators or
I need so much.
Okay.
Thank you. So much quieter. Oh my god. So.
Oh, what were we talking about before we got sidetracked?
Want to talk about the current state of the world right now?
Current state of the world is in flux because Trump is coming into power. And so, really, it's a toss-up. We don't know what's going to happen. He's wild.
Yeah. Well, that is true. He is a wild card. He definitely is a wild card.
Hey, Edward, you're in Chicago or no?
I'm in Connecticut.
What are you doing in Connecticut?
Yeah, I'm in Connecticut.
Is there a lot of Palestinians in Connecticut?
No. There would be in Chicago and Michigan, but no, not very many.
Yo, Edward, do you
Chicago and Michigan. Are you actually Palestinian?
Edward, do you shop at Stu Leonard's in Connecticut?
I have years ago. That's a nice store, dude.
I haven't been there in years, man. I went there when I was a kid. That place was like a fucking theme park.
Yeah, he went to prison. I knew the guy. Yeah, tax evasion. He had this cash register set up so that it skims off the top.
Oh,
yeah.
They'll come after you. Oh, shit. Let's drop something. Fuck.
You weed pen?
No.
So I just dropped some bottles.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Where are you?
I live in New York City.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I was memory with that. I don't know how far from West Hartford is. Anyway, I had something to say about Connecticut that came up. Well, first, I think I said this at Glimmer, but so George W. Bush's grandfather, Prescott Bush, was actually a senator here in Connecticut in the 1950s, which I had no idea. But also, they found an Afghani Muslim immigrant who immigrated to the U.S. in the 1860s and fought in the Civil War. And they found all his paperwork and everything in the library of
the American
something.
Civil War?
Yes. Yep.
That's some crazy ass shit, right?
Yeah, with somebody
platoon fighting like for the Confederacy.
Well, here's the thing. Here's how they got.
Wait, but how? Was he fighting for the Confederacy or the Union?
No, he was fighting against the South.
Oh, yeah. What do you mean, there? Why are you assuming he's fighting?
I'm just, either side. Do you agree?
No, they were not.
No, there would be no fight. If the United States didn't tell them to, they wouldn't have fight. The Ukrainian would have signed the peace treaty. The Ukrainian would have signed the peace treaty. Boris Johnson, on behalf of Joe Biden, went to Ukraine and told them, do not sign the peace treaty. We will support you and we will give you weapons. We will give you everything you need to fight the Russians.
No,
Ukraine wouldn't have just blatantly signed a peace treaty.
They would.
They
They
no, they wouldn't.
Hold on.
talking over her. Just let her say something.
Because she's half Ukrainian.
Well, it's cool. Just let her make an argument.
Michael and Aisha, come on, don't make me move people down.
No, but no, they wouldn't have signed a peace treaty because Ukrainian literally fought for their freedom only just 40 years ago. So likelihood that this war would have continued and more people would have just died. That's it.
Okay,
end of story. And they would have still lost the country. They would have lost the country.
In Russia went into Crimea, took Crimea, nobody did a fucking thing about it. Yeah, Russia took Crimea and nobody did a thing about it.
Yes, everyone turned a blind eye, but still Ukrainians fighting in the Donbass region.
Yeah, but without American military weaponry, Ukraine is
That's exactly what I just said to you.
2014, you guys killed a bunch of people in Odessa. You guys committed genocide in Odessa.
I mean, but real quick,
the world knows about this, Aisha.
But the hypothetical is if America did not say they will support you, or the UK did not say that we'll support you with the...
They would have lost the country, but they wouldn't have signed a peace treaty.
Thank you. That makes sense.
Look, Matt, you're saying there's a reason. Matt, you're saying that they would have just laid down in Russia, and I don't know what that evidence is. What is the evidence that they would have just laid down?
Was the Donbass region.
Because when Russia went into Crimea, they didn't do anything about it.
That's one thing. Giving up a piece of land, giving up a piece. You sound Jamaican, Aisha, to be real. I never imagined you.
I mean, listen, would they have to fight for a couple of days? Yes.
I don't care. I ignore you.
Concrete. For you to fight a war, you have to be able to make your own weapon. Ukraine doesn't do that. So without the support of this external country, they could not sustain fighting Russia for long. Would they have fight for a couple of weeks? Yes. Once
That's exactly what I just said.
They wouldn't have been able to fight, and they would have lost the country. And I show them defending Ukraine right now. So,
but Matt, but that's the point, though. That's the point that that's the country. That's funny.
So you can lose a quarter of what Russia has right now as far as the Donbass region. You can lose that without any lives dying. You're saying that they'll run the risk of losing their whole country?
Matt, can you teach some more to argue or debate the way you do? Like, and not do the shit that he does?
Bro, Matt just told you were wrong.
Yeah, he disagreed, but that doesn't mean we're wrong. The fuck?
What?
He disagrees doesn't mean we're wrong.
No, he said Samoa is right.
He think you're right doesn't mean you're right. He thinks you're right doesn't mean you're right. What the fuck?
Someone assessing was factual. Let's be honest.
No, so Matt, I think you missed my point, and I think you didn't get it.
Is there a portion of Ukraine that actually wants to go back to Russia?
Yes, there is.
I'm talking to y'all. I'm talking to Aisha. Shut up.
No.
I do know Donbass region, yes, there's plenty of people that in the Donbass region claims that they want to be a part of Russia because they've had how many years now? Nearly probably 100+ years of brainwashing in that region. Because like literally the Russian, that is literally the border region that has the largest amount of propaganda in that area for like decades and decades and decades now. So yes, a lot of that region now is screaming they want to be a part of Russia because they had enough of the war that's been going over there for a long enough time. But even if you look, what?
Go ahead.
And if you go on and I'm pretty sure what the point you're going to attempt to make, or at least a few of you, is because there's been this thing that's spreading around saying that Ukrainians or whatever are Russians, or whatever. Our history, pretty much our history is more complicated than that, and Russia been throwing around this propaganda that Ukrainians are Russians and whatever. That's been going on since like the beginning of time, when actually they are Ukrainians, and that's like the origin. If you know like the history behind Ukraine, that's what like Russia's been doing and been throwing this propaganda that's you originate from us, therefore you are Russian, when actually no, they originate from us and we are pretty much the same people. So you would hear people saying that you would hear people saying that we're ethnically Russian and we want to be a part of Russia, and we've had enough of this war. A lot in the Donbass region that's been fighting for many years now.
This is the first time you've ever demonstrated any expertise, Aisha. I commend you.
We're gonna start putting people down in the goo if 7 people are talking at one time. So I heard Concrete talking first, then Ani, then she and Aisha were having a dialogue back and forth. Y'all gotta stop with the damn ankle biting.
I just wanted to.
Your mama's drunk for COVID, so I'm not drunk.
I just wanted to thank Aisha for finally demonstrating some sort of knowledge and expertise in her contribution to Ukraine, even though she's black and there's no such thing as black Ukrainians, which means her story is all cap. Thank you.
I have nothing to prove.
Okay, so
they're not natural.
Yeah, that make you a blue Ukrainian, Aisha?
Black Ukrainian.
A blue Ukrainian? But we're having a conversation about history, right? So like we don't have to make educated guesses. We don't have to use logic, right? We don't have to assume. We don't have to make an inference. We don't have to do that. We can just look at the history, and then we can look at what the world leaders are saying. We can look at what Zelensky's saying out of his mouth, and we can see what the truth is, right? So if you even research Ukraine, we can't look at history and come to conclusions based on history and facts.
Absolutely right. You literally just contradicted yourself. You literally just contradicted yourself. You said we don't need to make inferences, and then now you're saying we are going to make inferences. First you said we don't need to make inferences.
What is going on?
You're not listening to yourself? You haven't said anything yet.
No, I haven't said. All I've said is that there's a lot of people saying inferences being made.
You said we don't have to make inferences.
Sir, Concrete, I know you a little bit, and I know how you are, but can you let me actually say something before you disagree?
You said we don't have to make inferences, correct?
Yeah, but I haven't said anything yet. Let me just say the thing.
But then you said we are going to make inferences.
No, I didn't.
Good. Yes. Oh, you didn't say we're going to come to conclusions?
I said we don't have to. We don't have to make inferences. We don't have to use logic. We don't have to do anything. We can just look at the history. And the history of Ukraine is that it used to be part of the Soviet Union.
And so prior to that, Russia used to be a part of Ukraine when it was divided amongst four brothers.
Yeah. So wait.
And they've been fighting ever since. So don't even attempt to make I just pointed out the argument that you was about to make. That we don't actually know the
I just
originating
want to
Russia.
finish one
The
thing.
word Russia originated from Kievan Rus, which is the key.
We gotta let people finish. We gotta let
Jesus
people
Christ, I'm not even going to say anything that you're going to disagree with. You're assuming I'm going to, but I'm not, because it's not really that personal for me. It's just history, and it's just public knowledge. So what it is with Ukraine, you have ethnic Ukrainians and you have ethnic Russians just because Ukraine used to be part of the Soviet Union. So when you say that, well, it's Vladimir Putin that made propaganda to make these Eastern Ukrainians feel like they're ethnically Russian. No, the history, and this actually goes into Ukrainian independence. The whole entire point of Ukrainian independence is that they had to get independence from the Soviet Union. So because of that, there's still Russians there left over that were ethnically Russian. That's why when you had the annex of Crimea, you didn't have any bloodshed, because the people who were living in Crimea were actually in a kind of civil war with ethnic Ukrainians in a way. So they were actually happy when the Russian tanks showed up. That's why you didn't have any type of bloodshed. The further they move west, the more resistance they get. This isn't black and white. This isn't about being right or wrong. But if you're biased, you don't have to be biased. You can just use history. History's on your side. Okay, Ukrainians.
Welcome back, bro. Good to see you. Long time no see.
Thank you.
So, Oni, are you making a case for the southern
You
border
just
with
said that
Mexico?
there's such thing as ethnically Russian and ethnically Ukrainian being two separate things. I just told you it wasn't. It's not true. Our origin is from the same. We are literally DNA. Our DNA is the same. We originated from the same fucking place, but we divided countries between. If you forget
it's a bunch of fucking slags.
Ukraine is much older than Russia. Russia came from Ukraine. Russia was divided. Russia was given after divided amongst both brothers, and they originated from literally the same people. And even Russia, the name Russia comes from Kiev, capital of Ukraine. Kievan Rus, the name, is from Russia. Rus, Ruski, Russia. So don't even give this crap that, like the USSR, like they moved from Moscow, whatever. No, and that they are ethnically Russian and we are ethnically Ukrainian.
But Matt, but Matt, why are you not pushing back on that ridiculous statement that Oni made about, all we gotta do is look at history, as if there's only one history and it's an irrefutable fucking truth of all truth. Exactly. And then he went back to a period of time to support his narrative when he could have gone back further, which would have refuted his narrative.
But this isn't even an international conversation.
No, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about Oni. Like, why aren't you pushing back on his like romanticizing of history as it's some sort of perfect fucking record that is irrefutable, right? Oh wow, thank you so much.
It was my turn to go.
Okay, so I just want to say, can I say one thing right quick? I just want to say that I don't know what Turner was, but I heard school said he wanted to go next. So when you go after school, but I just want to say this: Oni, you're doing something right. If you got the whole room against you, bro, trust me, bro. They're saying something that you're incorrect about, that they want to gaslight you to say that you're not doing.
Wait a second. When the whole room is against Seven Son, he's doing something right.
The problem is that concrete is being concrete, and he just wants to argue every single point. And then this lady.
I can't just girlfriend. Let me go.
I literally disagree to everything you just said.
Hey, come on, let's go. Before we do this, let's go. School wanted to say something, guys.
Ukrainians and Russians are different, but somehow they're the same. And then that's kind of like what I said.
They are
what you're saying.
Wait, Aisha and Oni, let's go right quick. We'll circle right back. Let's go want to say something. Then some more want to say something next. Then afterwards, we can do the back and forth again.
In 1994, Ukraine agreed to surrender nuclear weapons to Russia, right? Under the Budapest Memorandum. And that basically sealed their faith going forward. After 1994 and 1997, our charter was signed between a charter of partnership was signed between NATO and Ukraine in exchange for peace, security. In 2002, Ukraine declared its aspirations to join NATO. In 2005, that intensified and the membership started. In 2008, NATO declared Ukraine eventually become a member, but did not offer a membership action plan. So in 2014, the annexation happened with Ukraine. In 2017, Ukraine was granted the status of Enhanced Opportunities Partners by NATO. In 2020, a national security strategy reaffirming NATO membership for Ukraine began. And in 2022, Ukraine formally applied for NATO membership. And guess what happened after that? We know what happened. So Aisha, you can't sit here and pretend and say, oh, it's Russian propaganda. It's not Russian propaganda. We understand why there's a war going on in Ukraine. It's simply because Ukraine wants to be part of NATO. And Russia does not want Ukraine to join NATO.
Why?
Because that would literally bring
Lithuania, Estonia.
Lithuania and Estonia. There's no missile system. There's only a missile system in Poland.
Poland is not touching Russia. Poland's not touching Estonia and Lithuania.
Poland does border Russia.
Okay, Aisha.
Well, there's Ukraine in between that.
Gosh, you only pack Ukrainian. Just listen real quick. Those countries, you cannot hit Moscow from those countries without using an ICBM. If you have the entire Ukraine, you can hit Moscow using a long-range missile. Do you understand the difference between those two things? You don't even need an ICBM to hit Moscow, which is the largest city, I think, last time I checked, in Russia, is it not? So for you to sit here and pretend that, oh, this is all Russia propaganda makes no sense. If Russia wanted to go to Mexico and take over Mexico, we would be going to war in fucking Mexico. That's just plain and simple. Look what we did with Cuba. And Cuba isn't as close as Mexico. What do you think will happen with Mexico?
School, what are you arguing?
It's all right. Let me go. It was waiting. They don't go next to you. Yeah, you can address the damn courts and then on.
Hey, check out Aisha. Speak on something I don't know. But just real quick, though, just to go back to the original topic before Concrete wanted to move us to this rabbit hole. Lion was talking about how if America does not give insurances to said country would change its actual plans. Everybody would do this. If you were to find out, Concrete, that all of your supplies were going to go up by 100% in building concrete slabs or homes, you would probably say, hey, because it's going up 100%, they're probably not going to be developing a lot of structures for this period of time, and they make the exact same calculation. So the reason why when Oni said, I just look at the history, because we have both sides giving us the facts from their points of view. We know what Russia's saying, we know what Ukraine's saying, we know what America's saying. There's no reason for inference. There's no reason to try to make it up or make it make sense. This is what they've all said, and it's consistent. There you go.
Whose turn is it? Can I go?
Yeah, I'm going to quickly refute whatever.
All right, I'll go after you.
Was it School? Was it you who was speaking a moment ago to me about
that was School, yeah. That was all of them.
So anyway, to reframe what you said that the only reason why Russia attacked Ukraine is because NATO. No, because why didn't they attack Finland, Estonia, Lithuania, and Latvia?
I told you to
or Latvia, or Slovakia, or
I told you to No, she said
why?
That was a question.
Any of the ones. The reason is because for them, Ukraine is actually more valuable strategically and everything than the other countries.
Oh, you gotta stop.
If Ukraine joins NATO,
Aisha, hold on for a second.
Oh my gosh.
Hold on for a second. School, you gotta let her respond because she sat on mute the entire time you were talking. Shut your mouth. Aisha.
If Ukraine joins NATO, Russia can never take Ukraine. It has nothing, because they didn't give a shit when all these other 3-4 other countries joined NATO. They didn't bother with fighting or starting a war there. They started specifically when Ukraine was showing interest in joining NATO, because NATO's whole purpose of it even existing was to prevent the Soviet Union from expanding over into Europe. So of course the countries that previously was a part of the USSR would have full interest more than anybody to be a part of part of NATO. And when Ukraine was pushing further, whilst especially after 2014, Ukrainians began screaming to be a part of NATO and etc. because Russia was becoming more aggressive, and even prior to then, Russia was showing already aggression and threatening to start wars or whatever with Ukraine. So that's the actual reason. And there's only 3 countries that's left that's not joined NATO that's next to Russia. One, Belarus, Ukraine, and what's the other one? Georgia. Georgia, and both Georgia and Ukraine currently are being attacked. The only reason Belarus is not is
because that Ukraine.
Well, hold on, Star. You just got here. I'm in the queue. Star.
Crazy.
Can somebody do something?
All the country that's only
Ukraine was a part of Russia up until 1991. That's all.
So NATO is not the aggressor because NATO has not attacked Russia, but Russia has attacked all the non-NATO countries that's next to it.
Okay.
Yeah, so my turn now. Go on mute, sir. Go on mute, sir. Please let me go. And you can talk after me. You can talk after me, bro. Just chill. Yeah, just be quiet then. Then go on mute if you don't want to talk.
I'm asking.
Just be quiet. Thank you. Appreciate you. So, the point that I was making was it is most definitely the case that if Ukraine threatened with their existence, because we know that people have fucking pride of country. We know that people don't want to be subjugated. People don't want to get into situations where they don't know what the outcome is going to be. It's just a natural human response. And I think Matt already agreed. Yes, they would have fought and probably lost, right? Without the support, but they would have fought nonetheless. And if you're like truly vindictive in your fight, your losing fight, you just destroy as much infrastructure as you can and call it a fucking day, right? Because that's shut up, bro. Just chill.
Literally happened.
So
this is not the
hold on. Don't let them trigger you.
Yeah.
No, that's Oni's after me. Just chill. So what Samoa did, as per usual, the Samoa Shuffle, I asked that question. He dodged it for fucking 30 minutes. Then we went into another direction about the history, and that's when Oni tried to jump in with his fucking nonsensical statement. Oh, we don't need to make inferences. We don't need to use logic. We could just look at what they said. We could look at what happened, and there goes all the answers. And I'm surprised that Matt. And I chastised. Hold on. And I chastised Matt for not fucking beating up on that stupid ass point. And he, probably allegiance to the other side of the argument.
Fucking loud, dude. Like, damn, pass the mic.
Yes, loud and pass the mic are two different things. Anyway. So the whole point is the reason why we got here is because they were trying to make the argument that the looming presence of a Donald Trump administration is the catalyst for all of these peace talks and so on and so forth, right? And you might make that argument, but I don't think it's that, right? I don't think it's the looming presence. I think it's the fucking conspiracy of allegiances between Vladimir Putin, Elon Musk, Donald Trump, to fucking, sack the Ukraine, right? That's what I really think is happening. It's not, we're so afraid of Donald Trump. It's niggas, shut up, bro. Just chill, please. Thank you. Is that we're gonna fucking cook this goose. We finally got a little power, and we're gonna fucking divide the spoils, right? That's what's really at play. Not some, we're afraid of Donald Trump bullshit. Because, yeah, Donald Trump has the access now to dry up funding, make them a weaker nation, and make the inevitable more probable, right, that they'll lose. So, anyway.
Okay, so it looks like you. Yeah, let me go. I want to ask the moderators a question. It's going to be next. What are you talking about? Maybe it's going to be very quick. I need to ask the moderators a question, and this is going to be for the health of the room. So you niggas who want to talk, I can actually sit back and enjoy what we're talking about, because it's not like I want to talk. We got an actual half Ukrainian maybe person in here, right? So we can all learn, right? My
my question is, the reason why a lot of people interrupt is because people get off the mic and say they disagree, and then they say they disagree, and then they repeat history, and then they end up agreeing with the person that they just said that they disagree. So like that's the problem that I've had in this conversation. She's agreed with me. She's disagreed with me, and then when she repeats the history, it's the exact same thing that I said. She disagrees with school. That's the first thing that she says, and then she repeats the same thing that school says, and then so I'm just like,
so hang on, wait, that's complete bullshit. You said we're the
Let him run the narrative. Just let him run the narrative. As soon as you let him run the narrative, he'll be over.
That we're different. That
Lady Aisha, don't take the bait, Aisha.
There is not one thing different. He said that the expansion of NATO is what caused Russian aggression, and you agreed with him.
Oh my gosh.
Don't take
Regardless, whether no, you missed the point. Flew entirely over your head. No, what I said was that Russia would have attacked regardless, but the reason why NATO, and yes, it may have expected, it may have pushed Russia to do it quicker, but it would have happened regardless, because one, this has happened before without NATO being there, and Russia has expressed long before talks of NATO, or before even NATO even existed, been talks of Russia joining Ukraine again or whatever. What? Immediately after the Soviet Union collapsed, there was long before the when the Soviet Union collapsed, instantly Putin himself said that this was the worst tragedy, whatever, all these countries to leave, and Russia's glory needs to be reinformed, and that has always been his goal. And because he's now approaching old age, he wants to reinstall former Russia's glory before he dies and goes down in history, because he's been obsessed with history. Never shuts up about it. Never shuts up about the obsession of Russia's pure glory, whatever. That he still has this fucking crap of pure Slav crap, and he wants to. That's why he's taking all fucking Ukrainian children, trying to keep the Slav race number one, not have the Asians taking over on the other fucking side of Russia.
Okay. Aisha, can I speak now?
Like they did before. You missed that part.
Yeah, literally like they've done before.
Like they have done those talking points, bro. It's very much.
Aisha, what did you say about the children, the Ukrainian children?
Oh, basically they take Ukrainian children because the Russian birth rate has drastically dropped, and basically there's another region in Russia where there's a lot of brown people ethnically because they stole their country before, and they're reproducing, and the white ones aren't reproducing, and they want more white people.
Are Ukrainians brown? Ukrainians are brown?
Yeah, there's some brown ones. It depends on which country you're from.
Children gather high to fasten themselves in the school.
If you look on a map, Russia's quite big, and lots of different nations, so there's quite a few brown ones.
Aisha is the only one who wants to talk. She's a woman and she's white, so of course.
All you niggas is taking the L. Sorry to see you. Samoa's taking the L. Always taking the L. School's taking the L.
Okay.
Go ahead, go so I can go next.
All right. So first, she said like Oni said, she disagreed with me, and then she goes and says the reasons why she agreed with me.
I said at best it made it go quicker, but that's not the reason why. As I pointed out, they have options in Ukraine.
Stop taking the bait, bro.
Aisha, allow it. Aisha, thank you. Shh. When a black man speaks.
Oh, don't do all of that.
Okay, shh, Aisha, thank you. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, Eastern Ukraine is where all the ports are. So even if that's what the area that Russia wanted, because that area is closely related to Russia. It hasn't been assimilated to European culture. Guess what? I don't think NATO would want that to happen. So the only agreement that can happen is going back to what it was before. Ukraine does not join NATO. Russia is happy. Russia owns Crimea. And we move on with our fucking day. That's the second thing. The third thing is concrete. Of course it's because Donald Trump won. The reason I know that's the reason is because President Zelensky, when Donald Trump won, a week or so later, came out and said Ukraine and Russia would now be closer to a peace deal than they've ever been before because of President Trump. to that statement?
Because he's biased.
No, because
I told you I give credit to Donald Trump, but not because he is a war threat or war hawk, but because they've all colluded together to fucking split the country and take the spoils. If you take it to if you look at the relationship between Donald Trump and Putin, Elon Musk and Putin, Elon Musk in the Ukraine, these people are all in bed. Shut the fuck up, faggot ass nigga! Shut the fuck up, faggot ass nigga! Shut the fuck up, faggot ass nigga! Alright, come on. Shut the fuck up, faggot! Alright, let's not fight. Damn, bro. This fucking faggot hate people interrupted. We can't shut the fuck up. It's not Donald Trump dick. Let's get back to it. Anyway, like I was saying, sorry, I apologize to the rest of the room. Shut the fuck up, faggot ass nigga! Shut the fuck up, faggot! I got it. Shut the fuck up, faggot! Thank you. Alright. Anyway, shut the fuck up, faggot! Anyway, that nigga's from St. Louis. That's the only thing they understand is violence, and it seems to not work at the moment. But anyway, shut the fuck up, faggot ass nigga! Shut up, faggot! Sorry, I apologize. Anyway, like I was saying, before I rudely interrupted, from the kind gentleman from St. Louis who's up 50 grand on his investments. Good job.
That's right.
And what?
And you were completely wrong on it. That's right. Yeah.
I didn't. Anyway. Congratulations. You can't even give a nigga congratulations. As a St. Louis ass, puss ass, whole ass, faggot ass nigga. Because St. Louis niggas don't know how to be fucking. Anyway, can you shut up? Can I finish my point, though? Can I finish my point? Lion. I'll try niceness. Thank you. I appreciate it.
You know my boy Simone need to go now.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
It's okay. Lady, get your husband.
Anyway, so where was I? I don't think Donald Trump is a war hawk.
Come on, Lion, let him finish.
Thanks. I don't think he's a war hawk. I think these people have colluded to divide and take the spoils of the country. And Donald Trump is going to increase his coffers. Elon Musk is going to increase his coffers, and so is Putin. Probably even Zelensky, from what, because that made me think about what fucking Matt just said, how this was orchestrated from before, with America removing people, I forgot the name that he used, and installing Zelensky, actor. Wasn't there a doctor who was the president? I don't know. Anyway.
It's before Zelensky.
It was before Zelensky was a doctor, and he was like a true believer. His father was leader one time before, right? Am I thinking about the right people?
No. But it's all right.
Yeah, I know. I thought so. Thank you. Anyway, whole ass nigga. Anyway, so appreciate that, Matt. But yeah, so that just shows that this is some well orchestrated money grabs, as per usual with things of geopolitical events and wars. Money grabs.
All right, cool. So this kind of speaks to. So this kind of speaks to what Aisha was doing. So Aisha was adding motive to what Vladimir Putin's ultimate goal is, but by conceding to what Oni and School said as far as the chain of events that's taking place. The problem with Concrete is he just doesn't know. And that's probably the saddest part.
Like a female.
Simone, it's like a question. Simone, bro.
Come on, Lion. Come on, bro. You ain't fighting.
I'm trying to say go and win money. Okay, y'all gotta stop ankle biting. I can't moderate y'all and winning money at the same time.
Simone, when the war started, didn't the white knight called Elon Musk support Ukraine by providing Starlink satellites?
Absolutely.
And wasn't it free?
Yeah, but I mean, but that's the problem is that the narrative before the election was that
school. What does that prove? School
was incomplete.
So why would Elon Musk?
Wait, hold on. No.
Why would Elon Musk do what?
No, hold on, man. So Concrete doesn't know these things, so we just gotta move along. Because he doesn't know these things.
You just want to be sassy, and I want to have a conversation. So, School, why did you bring that up? You already fucking went, bro.
I'm right in the middle of talking, bro. I waited until school was done.
He was done, and then school started speaking, and now he wants to go back again. Go ahead.
No, he wasn't done. Ladies,
Okay, you're right.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, so I mean, this kind of goes to the whole inference that was being made as far as the conspiracy of Elon Musk and Vladimir Putin. And I think the reason why the question was asked was, why would Elon Musk provide internet access to kill more Russians in this conflict for the past 3 years if he was just digging in Vladimir's pocket? Good question. Because you don't know because you don't know these certain things, you're just going to say a lot of stupid things to be a part of the conversation. But again, we just go back to the original peace agreement.
That's right.
If Zelensky would have took the agreement like he said he was going to do before Boris Johnson and Joe Biden got involved, they would have just lost a quarter of what they're holding right now. But what they're going to do is they're going to be losing 75% more land in the Donbass region, 800,000 Ukrainians, and absolutely a decimated Ukraine. Infrastructure blown to pieces. So the idea is, why would they do something like that, right? Like, why would they? Because they were insured by other countries that they were going to be able to support the efforts, and all Ukraine had to do was offer the human capital, and they would offer everything else. And we can clearly see that Zelensky wants to off-ramp from what School just educated a lot of people on when Zelensky came out and said, hey, I'm ready for a peace treaty. Vladimir Putin did the exact same thing, said, hey, Donald Trump, we're ready for a peace treaty, and we're going to use Donald Trump to get to global cooperation economically, and that's how they're going to build it. Donald Trump is able to use what he just did yesterday, the 25% threatening of tariffs against Canada and Mexico, while he's president-elect, because they understand that he is going to do what he's saying that he's going to do. So then the question would be, why are they all bending the knee now?
Yeah, this is a stupid. Well, hold on. Let me respond. He's gonna pretend like he's not done now. Shut up some more. Shut up some more. Let me just fucking respond. This fucking faggot, bro. You can't shut up, bro. You can't shut the fuck up. Let me respond.
Yeah, shut up, bro.
You just wanted Matt to go, bitch ass nigga.
Done yet, bro.
You just wanted Matt to go.
Hey, bro, why are you acting like that, bro?
Can't you just shut up and let me go?
I'm right in the middle.
Can you shut up and let me go?
I'm almost done.
Weirdo, bro. You gotta lie all the time.
Hey, I appreciate you, bro. Love you. All right, so when we're looking at these, and about the Mexican person, right? The Mexican leader, the Jewish, short, tall person. She says they're going to stop all the caravans, right? Because they got to adhere to the demands of the president-elect, because they understand that his policies are going to be unfortunate for them if they don't adhere to the policies that are being threatened. So again, everybody's reaching out to Donald Trump because he's the new man on campus. And if you're going to enter into a war when you're clearly outmatched, Russia versus Ukraine, and your main investor is saying, I'm no longer going to invest in you, well, then you got to just break everything down and move on, bro.
All right, thank you. I don't want to. All right, thank you. Wait, hold on. Let me respond. Come on, bro. So, look, I don't want to get feisty with y'all niggas. Like, I like to have cordial, peaceful conversations. I apologize. I call y'all faggots and chips. I apologize. I call y'all faggots and chips, but stop acting like faggots and chips. Please. Thank you. So, it's very simplistic thinking that you're employing right now. When Elon Musk gives you some technological tools, do you think that he's not able to utilize those against you? While you think it's purely beneficial to you, such that he's monitoring your transmissions and relaying some of those transmissions to whomever he chooses, whenever he chooses? Oh, no, that's not possible. Okay, cool, that's not possible. Now, back to the original point about whether or not Donald Trump is the big man, big scary bad wolf, or is he a useful tool in this well-orchestrated money grab? He's a useful tool in a well-orchestrated money grab. That's what it actually is all about, right? It's not about being afraid. It's about when we include the information that Matt gave, that he believes that these people were installed. Then if you say, I'm going to fight, and then America says, I'm going to fund you, and they send over $60 billion or however much money, and you spend $1 billion on guns, and you pocket $59 billion in offshore slush accounts, and then after you've pilfered America from the front end, you can then spread the money in the back end. Like, bro, this is... Anyway, I'm going to...
Hold on. If I can go down. Hold on. No, I mean, there is a point here. Ukraine is definitely skimming the top of the fund. There's evidence of that. Zelensky also term run out, so technically Ukraine doesn't have a president. The guy they did not have any election. Regarding some more point regarding Mexico, I put a link in the chat of President Sheinbaum response to Donald Trump. Listen, I don't think it's bending the knee. What it is it's more like a breath of fresh air, and people realize that the Biden administration was not ready to play ball, and now there's a new president. People are looking and edging their bed and say, hey, if I can negotiate with that guy, of course they will take the opportunity to negotiate. But I don't think it is bending the knee. The United States is not what it used to be. And I think you guys need to get comfortable with that.
Concrete.
It never was what it was thought to be. And you can see that in numerous examples. It's always, I won't say always a paper tiger, but it's always had an inflated fucking lure around it, right? Come on, when did they ever exhibit some sort of like unmatchable dominance in any international conflict? When did that ever happen? Every place they go, every time they go alone, they've had quagmire after quagmire, i.e. fucking Korea, i.e. Vietnam, fucking Panama, Grenada, on and on and on, where they're just fighters. They're not like, everybody's dead when America shows up. Chuck Norris and Steven Seagal did all the work. It's just like, come on.
Concrete. My question to you would be, if Elon Musk was selling information or giving information to Russia through the satellites that he was providing to Ukraine for free, then why did he stop the services?
What? So if he stopped the services, therefore he never had to keep... Bro, come on, school.
No. Wouldn't it benefit him to continue doing it until 2024 during the election?
I don't understand. Like, what point do you think you're making?
Did you not hear what you said?
What did I say? Is there anything that I said that was like incorrect?
Yes.
If you have okay, so all right. Shut up, faggot ass nigga. Shut up. So, if you have a technology that you find beneficial, are you saying that said technology can't be used against you? I.e., everybody's iPhone?
No, I'm not saying the technology.
What are you arguing?
You said Elon Musk was providing information to Russia.
No, I said it's possible.
Oh, okay, it's possible. So,
nigga, anything is possible. Hey, listen, you might be.
No, you shutting up is not though.
Nigga, dumbass nigga. Hey, you know what? You also you could be implemented in being some sort of conspiracy inside of the Russian camp too.
You have a point that you want to make, school?
Well, I think a better question is it's possible, but is there any evidence of it?
No, we don't care about that either. That's like dumb.
We don't care about that.
I'm not making a claim that it happened. So what do we need evidence for? Pay attention, dumbass nigga, and pay attention and you'll understand. So, Samoa asked the question, why are these things happening if eventually they're all gonna just come to a peace treaty, right? Why would they posture? Why would they have people die? Why would they take money from America? Why would there be technological help from America if all of it is a ruse? Yeah, I know it's not your question, bro. It's not your question. I know it's not your question, bro. Let me just finish my point, though. Thank you. The ankle body is like really annoying.
If
The ankle biting is really annoying. Can you just shut up? Can you just shut up, Lion? Why don't you wait till it's your turn and you can say all the shit when it's your turn?
Hey, you've been running your big ass dick sucker this entire goddamn time. And you ain't said nothing of any evidence. All you doing is running your fucking mouth, nigga. Shut the
Anyway,
fuck up.
like I was saying.
You sound like a bitch.
Anyway, like I was saying, we're just talking about what is possible because Samoa is asking questions about why these things are going to happen as if there's only one way for it to like operate as a benefit, as if it can't be utilized as a negative, right? That's why I said you can use that technology against the people that are using it, that think they're using it for their benefit.
We are talking about evidence. That's what we are.
Yeah, that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter.
Why it does matter, you fucking idiot? Because you have none and we have all.
Oh, you're so stupid.
The reason why all of these niggas
What evidence do you don't even know what we're talking about anymore.
The reason all, yeah, we do. You keep trying to move the conversation away from the actual point to win something because
you're just gonna keep crying. You're just gonna keep crying. You have nothing else to say besides your emotions.
Hey, listen, here's the point. The point is simply this. It's real simple, you stupid moron. The point is this. Donald Trump gets in office, and all these niggas start bowing down. All of them start calming down.
That's some dumb nigger thinking. Thank you. We got it. That is some dumb St. Louis nigger thinking.
The only dumb nigga here is the one that's talking all this conspiracy. Well, it's possible that...
Wait, didn't you get your fucking identity stolen, bitch ass nigga? Didn't you get your fucking identity stolen, you old bitch ass nigga?
It's really possible that, you know...
All niggas give you back your identity, old faggot ass nigga. Shut up. Digi, give him back his identity. And the nigga that got your identity sitting right there, he ain't say shit.
I'm actually gonna give that one to you, Concrete.
It's really possible that Elon Musk might...
What'd you say, Red Room? My bad, bro. It's fucking Mike.
Donald Trump, you know, because Donald Trump was like, hey...
You want to tell me about conspiracy theories? Shut your old stolen ass...
Now you want to move the goalpost because you lost this one again.
Like, can I ask? Yeah, that was fun. I can't lie.
Yeah, but school. Before you move on. But school, I have to find.
Hey, King, it's like Mr. Society. What they killed your cousin.
What happened is this: you lost the argument. You came into the argument on purpose to get your ass whooped. That's what really fucking happened.
Killed your cousin. His cousin Harold got killed at the light. His identity got took at the light, and now he ain't get no get back.
You decided to still continue on and try to move the goalposts.
Crying, man.
All you kept doing is wasting